Alright guys, today I'm going to be answering the age-old question of is Serpent Spine or Whiteblind better on Noelle? Now, I tried to get Ganyu and MiHoYo was nice enough to give me a cryo unit. It just wasn't the one I wanted, as you can see. However, I did get the silver lining of a C6 Noelle. So, well, if I can't build a Ganyu, I can still build a new character, right? So I built my Noelle. I'm building up my Noelle, and I realize it's kind of common knowledge, or everyone seems to think that Whiteblind is Noelle's best in slot weapon. And I've already used all my Claymore prototypes on this one, so it could be a year before I get another one based on the rates that I've been getting. So I tried to look up whether this Serpent Spine I already have would be good enough. And I couldn't really find much about it, so I decided to do my own calculations. And I found that it's actually better at pretty much all stages as long as you keep the passive stacks up, which is actually not that hard considering Noelle can have a shield almost always. And it'll especially be easier when the geo buffs come through. So without further ado, let's get into the math. So what I ended up doing was writing a quick Python program to simulate these artifacts being upgraded to figure out, what is the ceiling when you're using a Serpent Spine and what is the ceiling when you're using Whiteblind at, Refinement 1 and Refinement 5 alike. So I'm assuming Gladiator set because that is the best. However, Bolide is so close that you should use Bolide if your Bolide pieces have better substats, and you should use Gladiator if your Gladiator pieces have better substats. So the way it's calculating it is getting the total percent attack, which is 18% from Gladiator. The stats, these are the stats from your artifacts. And for example, here, this is the 24% from Whiteblind's Refinement passive. And then we have defense. We have 30% from Noelle's Ascension stats, stats from the artifacts. This is the main stat of the Whiteblind, and then here's the 24% from Whiteblind's passive. Crit rate, every character has a base of 5 plus the artifacts. Crit damage, 50% plus the artifacts. Damage bonus, this is the 35% from the Gladiator set, and whatever you have from your artifacts, which will be the geo damage bonus on the goblet. This crit rate can't go above 1.0. Here's Noelle's base attack, base defense, weapon base attack. Both the Serpent Spine and the Whiteblind have 510. Defense attack conversion. So this is assuming Noelle has a rank 13 ultimate and C6. The lower this is, so the lower your Noelle's ultimate rank is, the better Serpent Spine gets. And if you don't have C6, Serpent Spine is going to be even better compared to Whiteblind. And then to calculate the multiplier, a bunch of math. I won't get into that now, but if you really are curious. So for the actual program to run, it will simulate the 25 possible substat upgrades that you will get on your 5 artifacts. Each of those upgrades will go into either defense, crit rate, or crit damage, because those are the top 3 substats which will increase your DPS. So the highest increase in DPS will always come from one of these 3 substats being upgraded. Each of the 25 upgrades, it will calculate which one of those 3 stats gives the highest increase in DPS, and then it will upgrade that stat and move on to the next one. And at the end, it's going to show you how many upgrades it did on each one. Alright, so let's look at the results I got from comparing Serpent Spine Refinement 1 and Whiteblind Refinement 1. So what we're really looking at is at the end, at upgrade 25, Serpent Spine gets 28.15 to the 27.36 of the Whiteblind, which means you're going to be doing more damage with the Serpent Spine. And you can also see the upgrades are distributed a little bit more evenly. You want 8 crit damage upgrades, 12 crit rate, and 5 defense. Whereas with Whiteblind, you want 14 crit damage and 11 crit rate and 0 defense upgrades. It's probably easier to reach this distribution of the Serpent Spine. And here we have both of the weapons at R5. So at R5, the Serpent Spine is just barely still a little bit better than the Whiteblind in terms of DPS. Although the Whiteblind is very close. Now, in my opinion, the biggest advantage of the Serpent Spine is that it is transferable to other characters. Unlike the Whiteblind, the Serpent Spine is good on just about any Claymore damage dealer, whereas the Whiteblind is pretty much only good on Noelle. That being said, if your Whiteblind is a higher refinement than your Serpent Spine, the Whiteblind will out DPS the Serpent Spine. And at the end of the day, they're so close that it's really not a big deal. You're really only looking at about a 1% damage increase by running the Serpent Spine instead. However, the advantage of the Serpent Spine is that it's easier to get the substats, and it is better on other characters. So you don't have to invest in a new weapon potentially. So with that being said, if you like this video, and you want more nitty-gritty math like this, or if you have any questions for me, just feel free to ask in the comments. Drop a like, as the YouTubers say.